On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
One of those people who are of the mindset that the decline started with feminism. It started with the notion that women wanted to have a choice. They wanted to be able to choose whether or not they wanted to be wives or they wanted to work, if they want to be dependent or independent. And they had their reasons for that. And I don't even want to try to discuss them or bring on what they were. I mean, even if you look at the original story in the Bible, right? Eve, what was her, what drove her choice? She said, man, that she was offered to be equal to God and superior to man. That's what he offered her. Oh, you can't eat from that tree. You know what I'm saying? You eat from that tree, guess what? You're gonna be equal to God. And if you're equal to God, then it means you're superior to man. That's what she wanted, right? But even God, if you read the Bible, because people always like to say, God punished Adam, but he punished Eve first. Read the story if you think I'm wrong. She got hers first. He punished everybody in the order in which the crimes were committed. He punished Satan, then he punished Eve, then he punished Adam.
Importance of having a man in the household. And when he was saying removing the man from the protection of the woman, I perceive that as a man not being there. You know, we see what the result and the residue from single mother households and raising kids and kids without fathers becoming rebellious and becoming criminals and all that other stuff. So that's what I thought he was talking about. I didn't read about no letter, and I mean I know what the Willie Lynch letter, but that's not what I got from it. I think, and I didn't get stuck on how he delivered it. You know, this thing called pandering or whatever. I mean, I feel like everybody have a way that they speak and the way they bring out their information that they want to speak about. And because his don't align with mine, I don't tend to get stuck on that. I'm able to, listen to what the guy's saying, see if I can understand it, see if it's relatable to, some of my thoughts. And it is. A lot of it is relatable to my thoughts. I feel like if we want to look at history, I feel like in some events, when you had in the 1980 or 1980 drug war or whatever? What is it? 1980 drug act, right? Or something like that? War on drugs. War on drugs. Then you had the 1994 crime bill. I think a lot of those policies or laws or whatever that came in effect did have an impact on what he was stating, removing the man from being the protector of the woman. Now, when he said something about, okay, women, when you teach a man, you teach an individual, but when you teach a woman, you teach a nation. I looked at that as women are raising our children. So their attention, they get most of the attention from the woman. I didn't look at it as, oh, women are more powerful than men and the women, without women, we can't raise a nation. I didn't look at it like that. I didn't see what I'm starting to understand is when everybody had their points, they were just pinning men and women against each other. And I don't think that he was trying to do that. I think he was trying to do the opposite of what the whole damn panel just veered off and did. I think he was trying to say, hey, look, we probably need to it's in our best interest to bring men and women together.
Agreed.
And what's been happening is men and women haven't been together. That's why the shit is so fucked up. So, and then all we do is we take that and then we pull each other away from each other even more by saying, oh no, you need a man to do this. That's why the men, who gives a fuck? That's why on my show, and I didn't mean to shout out my show, and I wasn't supposed to, but that's why I always preach, be family oriented, have a mentality to have a family, to raise your children together. And that's what I said about it's similar to some of the things I said about Tia Mowry and Corey Grant situation. And that's what I got from it. All this slavery stuff, I don't buy it.
Bruiser, I agree with everything you said. And go ahead. Who's supposed to go ahead?
Thank you so much. Listen, I want to say first of all, Kay, that was kind of like a cold move that you did to question Anton on the Victim Olympics. I see what you did with that. That was pretty dope.
Quest is not even here.
He said anytime, man.
The way that you brung the slavery narrative around and the way that they correlated that to the decisions that was being made in the late 60s and 70s, and then trying to say whether or not you asked Anton whether or not they were running the victim Olympics by making that correlation. That was pretty dope. That was a good debate tactic. I ain't mad at you for that. But here's the thing.
I just like for people to see their own hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Yo, when she asked about slavery herself, though, right? Little podcast.
Hold on, let go.
I just want to point out that I got what you was doing right there. That's called on the debate side of the game.
Situation.
Yeah.
So you said you
hold on. So this is what I want to say. I am a person who believes that the downward spiral of our community started with feminism. But I don't pretend like I don't know a lot of the other stuff that happened as well. A lot of the stuff that Kayla named. And even while Kayla was naming the stuff, Mr. Let Go himself was shaking his head in agreement. We all know it was a lot of different things. It was not one. There were tactics of war, right? And it wasn't just one. It was a lot of them. But I do agree that it started with feminism. And the reason why is because depending on who you believe, as Kayla stated, in 1960, we were supposedly married at a rate of 80%. Now, that sounds crazy to me. I don't typically believe it, but, most people would say that that was the case, right? Okay, 1964, women get set aside from the government, they get minority status, things like that, right? Here's the thing. By 1981, the marriage rate was already down 26%. Already. This is pre-crack. Right, this is pre-prison industrial complex and all of this stuff. So there were things like Kayla talked about with them taking certain curriculums. It was called vocational curriculums. They took the vocational curriculums out of the school. Right, they basically defunded the men. Right, they took men's ability to be able to provide for their communities away from them, and they also gave women a opportunity at independence and free love during the mid 60s. And so it was a lot of it that went on. But I do think when we're talking about accountability, right, we have to start at the origin point. And I'm just one of those people who are of the mindset that the decline started with feminism. It started with the notion that women wanted to have a choice. They wanted to be able to choose whether or not they wanted to be wives or they wanted to work, if they want to be dependent or independent. And they had their reasons for that. And I don't even want to try to discuss them or bring on what they were. I mean, even if you look at the original story in the Bible, right? Eve, what was her, what drove her choice? She said, man, that she was offered to be equal to God and superior to man. That's what he offered her. Oh, you can't eat from that tree. You know what I'm saying? You eat from that tree, guess what? You're going to be equal to God. And if you're equal to God, then it means you're superior to man. That's what she wanted, right? But even God, if you read the Bible, because people always like to say, God punished Adam, but he punished Eve first. Read the story if you think I'm wrong. She got hers first. He punished everybody in the order in which the crimes were committed. He punished Satan, then he punished Eve, then he punished Adam.